How eating in silence changes the subtle body, the hidden alchemy of stillness at the table, opening transmission. There is a temple you visit every day, but have likely forgotten how to enter. It does not stand upon a mountain, nor is it reached through chants or rituals. It is the temple of your own body, and the door opens with the first bite of a meal, but only if the meal is taken in silence. You see, eating in silence is not merely a quaint monastic habit. It is a doorway, a forgotten initiatory rite that aligns the outer act of nourishment with the inner process of awakening. It is not about rules or restraint. It is about presence, reclaiming the sacred moment where the material becomes subtle, where food becomes vibration, and where the body becomes a channel for light. In this transmission, we explore how eating in silence is not a denial of life, but a return to it, not an escape from the world, but a re-entry into its sacred rhythm, and how this one practice, so simple, so ordinary, can ripple across your breath, your nervous system, your dreams, and the very structure of your subtle body. Let us begin with the unseen field where all digestion begins. 1. Eating is an energetic act. You were taught to eat for calories, for protein, for vitamins, but your body is not a machine, it is a field. Every cell responds to subtle impressions. Every organ listens for vibrational input, and every meal carries more than just nutrients. It carries prana, the subtle life force behind matter. It carries emotion from the person who prepared it. It carries thought from the conversation surrounding it. It carries memory from where it came and how it was handled. When you eat in silence, you are no longer digesting chaos. You are absorbing essence. You give the body space to do what it knows best, to turn form into life, to transform matter into radiant being. Silence does not just protect the meal, it purifies the subtle channel between food and self. 2. The way of the mouth determines the path of the mind. The mouth is not just for eating, it is the gate of expression. When we talk while we eat, we split the flow. The body must now multitask. It chews, it processes, it listens, it replies. But your body is not made to multitask its sacred functions. Digestion, when allowed to be full and uninterrupted, requires total inwardness. This is why the ancients called meals offerings to the inner fire. Not because of symbolism, but because attention is fuel. And when your attention is fragmented, your fire flickers. Your digestion is dulled, your prana scatters. Eating in silence reclaims the power of inward fire. It turns each chew into a mantra, each swallow into a sacred act. It is the mouth remembering its deeper role. Not just to speak, but to receive fully. 3. Stillness strengthens the subtle channels. Your body is not solid. It is a weaving of energy currents, rivers of sensation, memory, and light. In the yogic traditions, these are called nadis, though we will not use that term today. You might call them threads of light, invisible rivers running from your root to your crown. When you eat in silence, you reduce turbulence in these rivers. The winds settle, the flow steadies. You begin to notice sensation not as noise, but as song. The silence of eating is not passive, it is active listening to what food feels like, to how it enters, to where it lands, to how it moves within you. And as these channels become less obstructed, energy begins to rise. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped interrupting it. 4. Speech carries emotional residue. Many conversations over food are not neutral. They carry tension, planning, conflict, comparison, memory. Even joyful conversations carry an outward energy. They stimulate the surface of your being, but they often block the deeper descent of presence. Every word has an echo. Every echo moves through the body. When you eat in silence, you stop importing other people's vibrations into your body during digestion. You allow your emotional field to rest. You give your organs permission to receive without defending. This is why eating in silence often feels emotional, because in the absence of chatter, you finally hear your own heart again. 5. Digestion is physical, emotional, and spiritual. In the modern world, we view digestion as a gut function, stomach, intestines, enzymes. But digestion happens on many levels. You digest what you eat, you digest what you hear, you digest what you feel, you digest what you remember. And when too many of these come in at once, the system overloads. You may eat a healthy meal, but if you're arguing while eating, you are digesting disturbance. You may drink a warm tea, but if you're scrolling through chaos, you are absorbing confusion. Silence simplifies the input. It gives the body one message at a time. This is not a theory. It is directly felt. Within just 3 days of eating in silence, many people report deeper sleep, clearer skin, calmer moods, and sharper awareness, because the subtle body has space to complete what was never finished. 6. The breath begins to guide the meal. When the mouth is silent, the breath becomes audible. You notice how it rises and falls between bites. You hear the pauses. You feel the soft exhale that says, enough. Most people overeat because they are not present. They talk, they consume, they rush. But breath is wise. It knows exactly how much is needed. It signals when the fire has had enough fuel. Silence allows the breath to speak again. The meal slows, the chewing deepens, the tongue becomes gentle, and what was once an unconscious activity becomes a communion. 7. The aura cleanses as you eat. As you deepen your practice, you may begin to feel something strange, a soft pulsing around the body. Your hands may tingle, your spine may grow warm, you may feel a dome of stillness around your head. This is not imagination. It is your subtle field responding. Because as the system rests during the meal, layers of residue begin to lift. The field reorganizes. The body no longer leaks energy outward. You begin to glow, not from the food, but from the way it is received. This glow is not metaphor. It is measurable. Those sensitive to energy, healers, meditators, seers, can feel when a person eats in silence. They carry less static. They speak from a grounded center. They move with integrated awareness. 8. Eating alone is not the same as eating in silence. Some assume that eating alone means eating in silence, but solitude does not guarantee presence. You can be alone and still be mentally noisy. You can be scrolling, planning, worrying. True silent eating is not just outer silence. It is inner containment. It means no stimulation, no conversation, no media, no distraction. Just food, body, breath, and being. This may seem radical, but it is how the ancient ones ate, not out of dogma, but out of reverence. 9. Memory clears when food is reverent. There are layers of memory stored in your tissues. Old stories, traumas, thoughts, not because they were too strong, but because they were never given space to release. When you eat in silence, the nervous system enters a receptive mode. This is the same mode activated in deep meditation or after a profound healing session. In this space, memory begins to rise, not as thought but as sensation. And if you stay quiet and continue chewing, those memories dissolve. Food becomes the medium through which the past is cleansed. You are not just eating, you are remembering yourself clean. 10. Every meal becomes a portal. Once you learn the power of silent eating, you realize you eat 3 times a day, and each meal is an opportunity to reconnect with your soul. You don't need new mantras. You don't need fancy diets. You don't need to go anywhere. You just need to sit, breathe, and eat with your full attention. The portal opens every time, but only for those who enter without noise. And when it opens, your food becomes sacred again, not because of what it is, but because of who you are when you receive it. Mystical reflection. Silence is not just a practice, it is a dimension. And when it meets the ordinary act of eating, the ordinary disappears. You are no longer consuming, you are communing. You are no longer feeding the body, you are feeding the light within it. Try it. One meal, no sound, no stimulus, no rush, and see what returns to you. You may discover that the most spiritual part of your day was sitting at the table with nothing but food, breath, and silence. If this sacred transmission nourished your inner silence, I invite you to subscribe to this channel for more teachings like this. And if you feel called to support the creation of this library of remembrance, consider becoming a member. Every moment of stillness is part of the path. Next episode preview. In our next sacred transmission, we will explore the power of not answering questions, why silence in speech is a spiritual superpower, and how stillness reveals more truth than words ever could.